Hi there, Charley Egan here from Village Properties with the first episode of my new podcast series called COVID-19 Home Real Estate Podcast, episode number 1, in which I'll be discussing the question, like, what are some of the key things to consider if you are thinking of holding off on selling your home because of the current crisis. Before I dive into that, I just want to pause and just offer the question that if you are a buyer or seller who has questions but can't find an answer to your questions, well, you're definitely in the right place. To help you get through and get to the right direction about how you buy or sell your home, I've created a series of step-by-step guides for both buyers and sellers that I'd be glad to send to you. You can call me or email me, and I will get them to you as soon as possible. So I'd like to just dive into the question and get started here with what are some of the key things to consider if you're thinking of holding off on selling your home now because of the current crisis. Things to consider are price and inventory, convenience and safety, and to a lesser degree, interest rates. So first, price and inventory. I had some sellers come to me, and they were taking their house off the market because they were just concerned that they didn't want strangers coming inside, and also they thought once this thing passes that they will be able to get even more money for their house later than they will now. And I had to remind them that given the situation right now, there are buyers out there that want to buy homes, but and the inventory is very low, and so price point has kept pretty high. But once this thing passes, there is going to be potentially a flood of sellers putting their homes on the market, and also there's going to be people who are being forced to sell. So it very well could shift from being what it is right now, which is a seller's market, to a buyer's market. And the point about it being kind of risky or unsafe to sell right now, in the last few weeks, real estate agents in the real estate industry has kind of initiated this thing called a virtual open house, where they have a videographer or just the realtor on a cell phone goes in and he films the inside of the house. And so those are being thrown up online with the property so that buyers can view the house inside and even make an offer on the home based on the interior video. And then they will be able to write an offer contingent upon them doing a physical inspection of the inside once they open escrow. So as you see, there are ways that real estate industry is carrying on and dealing with this kind of pandemic and crisis and making it work. So, and the last thing I mentioned was interest rates. Interest rates right now are very low, and we don't know what's going to happen. They probably will continue to stay low, but stranger things have happened in the last few weeks. So it's hard to predict exactly what the future looks like in terms of all those things. So to recap, if you're considering holding off selling your home, consider that the market's going to be different. Once this pandemic passes, there'll be more inventory, and there'll be probably more buyers, of course, too, but there definitely will be more inventory and more competition on the market, and that's like your home, and that it will very likely be a buyer's market as opposed to a seller's market. And the other thing we talked about was how the industry has accommodated the showing homes much more safely and securely for sellers. And lastly was interest rates, which is a question mark at this point. So in closing, I wanted to just offer that we all know it's challenging out there, but together we're going to get through this unified and stronger, and that if we work together, we will ultimately come out of this both more connected and more strong individually and collectively. Again, Charley Egan at Village Properties. Thanks for listening.